Interesting beard fact for the week, guys. So today we're going to be talking about royalty. Royalty was a very distinguishable position in the Victorian era, and it was all based on the style of your beard if you were a male. The better the better shape and styling of your beard meant the higher the status that you were. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ray, and welcome to Bearding Without Borders. All right, guys. So, like I said, today is about royalty. We actually have a little bit of a legend here in the building with us today. I'm going to introduce the one, the only Philip Jones, aka Taxi Phil of the Cincinnati Beard Barons. Taxi, thank you so much for coming out today.
Thank you for having me. I'm a legend in my own mind.
You're a legend in all our minds.
Oh, okay.
So honestly, it's great. I know that you guys were, kind of enjoying your Labor Day weekend, and you made a trip down here to Lexington to come spend it with me, and I appreciate that. So we can kind of do this interview face to face. This is our first time doing a face to face, so there's bound to be quite a few fun, happy little accidents, as Bob Ross would say. But I am really excited to have you here and to get a chance to tell your story.
Well, there's 3 ice cream stops along the way.
Oh, well, then it's perfect.
Yeah. So how else you'll spend Labor Day besides getting ice cream?
Absolutely. So one of the first things I wanted to talk, we talked about a little bit earlier when we were kind of walking around. Today we are shooting at the Oddfellow Lodge / Mad Backing Kentucky chapter clubhouse. Had a good open space and a really good space to do it in. But you kind of gave me a little bit of your story. How did you get into the bearding community?
Actually, it was 100% by accident.
Okay.
I was driving the cab. I was on the cab stand one day, and one of their cab drivers came up and threw the Cincinnati magazine at me. It says, "Tell me what's wrong with this picture." I opened up to the centerfold, and it's the best mustaches in Cincinnati. I wasn't in it.
That's
Matter of fact, there was only one mustache in there that was very good at all. His name was Peanut. We became very good friends over the years. So I started reading the article, and it talked about the Queen City Beard and Mustache Society, which is a smaller club there in Cincinnati. So I started going to their meetings, and they were a great group of guys, but they weren't really going anywhere with the bearding community. And I found out about competitions and things. So I started going to competitions. So it was 100% by accident. I got lucky that some guy gave it through the magazine at me, or I may have never found this great community.
Okay, so the whole name Taxi Phil came from you driving a taxi.
Yes, sir.
I'm guessing that was a club nickname that just kind of stuck.
No, that's the name on the side of my car.
That was the name on the side of your car.
Yes, sir. That was my logo. I'm Taxi Phil. I've been Taxi Phil now for about 35 years, driving the cab. I retired about 2 years ago. Uber put us out of business, and we just couldn't keep up with them.
So did you own the cab company?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're kind of a jack of all trades, like based on some of the stories I've gotten here. Taxi. You guys did your own gaming company in the carnival.
Yeah, we worked in the carnival for many, many years. Me and the lovely Mrs. Jones did. That's where we met. Actually, was in the carnival. Yes, sir.
Okay.
She made the mistake of buying a corn dog and lemonade trailer, and I made the mistake of showing up in Highland, Illinois. And we met, and everybody kept telling us, "Oh, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work." Well, 40 years later, it still ain't working.
Oh,
So. I got lucky there, and we stayed in that business for many, many years. Our son was born, and we got out of business shortly, and I became a doorman at the Omni Netherland Plaza, and that's where the mustache started. I was working as a doorman. As the general manager came down one day and said, "Phil, if you put some wax in that mustache, made a handlebar, it'd really be cool." And I'm like, "Oh, what?" He says, "A handlebar mustache." I said, "Sure, whatever." So I looked into it, and the uniform and the position, it just went well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I've had it ever since.
So how long have you so I know that you cut your beard every year and then you let it grow back out in time for Santa Claus season for I'm guessing you work at is it like the mall?
No. We do home visits.
You do the home visits?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, we do home visits. We're working on photo shoots and stuff this year maybe. But mainly we do home visits. And it all started by going to friends' houses that we knew and we do it for their kids and stuff. And then it's evolved from there. The lovely Mrs. Jones, that's Mrs. Claus. And so we go out together, and we probably do about 20 shows every year. We stay pretty busy.
Let's see, like every time I see you, it's clean shaven, just perfect handlebar mustache, got the wild angles out there, and it's honestly one of the reasons what made me want to start doing more of a styled stash was seeing how you did yours. Because like I have a long mustache.
Yes, you do. Great mustache.
Thank you. And it's a little bit thick, but it's getting used to the roll, and I feel like I have like trying to get that symmetrical side, and it kind of throws me off. So, like, because when I look at it, I'm like, oh, this is not right. This is not right, and I keep on messing with it. So,
one of the things you'll learn, I just do mine. I've been doing it for 35 years.
right.
You know, so I just whip it up and it's done. We were in Omaha for a competition, and when I came up on stage, the MC says, "Hey, how long did it take you to do your mustache today?" Well, Timmy White Shoes yells, 3 minutes and 48 seconds. I looked at him and goes, "Yeah, I timed it this morning." I'm like, wow, I didn't really do it that quick. But I've been doing it forever. And the only people that notice it's not right is you.
Yep.
You know, I'll look at mine and go, man, it ain't right. You know, it's off a little bit, and nobody notices it. You know?
Right.
So yeah, your own worst critic is you.
Oh, absolutely. I found that out in Columbus, like the entire time going up there and kind of messing.
Well,
with
that's
it
another
before.
thing. Is once you get it in, leave it alone.
Yep.
Every time you play with it, you change it, it screws something up. So just leave the thing alone and go for it.
So like I said, I see you clean shaven most of the time, and so I didn't realize until I guess it was about this time last year that you actually grow it out and do the Santa Claus thing, and that is actually probably one of the coolest things I've seen get done as an individual inside the community, because a lot of people, you know, they have their style, they stick with that style, they don't change anything. So to see that you're willing to, you know, because like I said, clean shaven, you got the gentleman's outfit, and then every year you grow the beard out for Santa Claus
Correct.
is absolutely, that's amazing. That's something that I would expect nothing less from.
Right. Well, I've done every category but Whaler. And needless to say, I'm not going to do Whaler anytime soon.
Don't worry, Charms, you're safe.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Brian. You're okay. You know, I'm not going to do Whaler anytime soon. Now, at the Fort Wayne comp up there for Bearded Hero, I did 8 different categories. I came in with a freestyle. I did freestyle. I did over 12. I did, 8 to 12, 4 to 8. I just kept shaving all the way down until my last category was style mustache. You know, and I did the natural mustache. I did the style mustache. It was a blast. You know, now the most, 8 or 9, but the most categories ever done as a big whisker is 8. And Bryant Anderson's, well, Mark Bennett did it, and then
Ryan Sheebley.
Brad Anderson did it one year, and then we had a guy last year, Eric Hall did it. He did a bunch.
That is a lot of categories.
It is.
And that is.
But now we did change it to ours, as the 2 creative categories are gender specific now.
Okay.
All right, you know, they're women's categories. So they're Brad Anderson, you know, are gender specific now.
Mrs. Jones over here on the side making sure that he gets his cues in. So
She's making sure I do it properly.
all right. So since we're already kind of moving towards that subject, we're going to go ahead and jump into obviously what's going on October 1st. Is what you guys have been gearing up for is Big Whisker Revival. I didn't get to go last year, so this year is my first year going to be there.
Oh, fantastic.
I am super excited. I heard a lot of great things. Speaking about people doing multiple categories, I think it was Ryan Sheebley did multiple categories. I want to say it was a Big Whisker that.
Yeah, almost ours is one of the main events that you can do multiple categories in. I think us and Bearded Hero started it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now a lot of the different ones are doing it because it makes more sense
Right.
because you can raise more money for your charity that way.
Right.
You know, and it's more fun. You get to go have a blast out there.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, yeah, Ryan Shipley's did a few. Ryan Shipley, he's got a few of them there. And, but yeah, everybody does 2 or 3, it seems like. You know, you're going to do a couple of categories.
I'm gonna do at least one.
Yeah, no, you'll do 2.
I'm gonna do 2.
Oh, yeah, do style and not style.
You heard it here, guys. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing 2 categories.
Yeah. So we have a full beard style stash under 6 inches and
Right.
full beard style stash over 6 inches.
Right.
So that way it also divides that category up better.
That's gonna be great.
Right.
So,
And we've done it the way our categories are done in order is you can do it as many categories as you can because we go from all the style categories to the natural categories. And you go from long to short. So,
okay, so then then I could do two
Yes, you
categories.
could.
I could do style stash, and then I could go and wash that out and go into natural.
correct.
So that works great.
You also throw freestyle in there.
I would, but I think Designs would get a little salty at me because I think he's going freestyle this year.
Oh.
He's on that freestyle kick right now.
Who's that?
Squatch.
Oh, yeah. But they'll be all right.
So since we're talking about
Okay.
with Big Whisker, so Barracks Project is the program.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Yes, sir. We work with the Barracks Project. They're out of the Northern Kentucky area. They just started a chapter over in California. There are 100% volunteers. Okay, there's nobody gets any money out of this.
Okay.
They work with veterans to get them off the streets before they even hit the streets is their goal,
Okay.
and mainly with families and things. And they help them out, trying to get jobs. They set up mock interviews. They make sure they have the proper outfits to go for the jobs and stuff. They've got 3 houses that have been donated to them that they've remodeled, and they put these guys up and gals up until they can get them, acclimated back to civilian life. They also work with the older, I can't call them the senior citizens anymore because I am one. They work with the older folks that need the grass cut or paint their porch, whatever they need. And one of the cool programs they just started is if the guys, active military, can get leave at Christmas and they can't afford to get home, what they'll do is they'll give them a ticket. They'll give them a plane ticket, bus ticket, whatever it takes to get these people home. It's a great organization. They've been around 5 years, maybe 5-6 years. And they started from ground zero to where they are now. They're doing a great job.
And you guys have been involved. Is that the one that you do every year?
It is now, yes, sir. We've been doing this is our 4th year with those, I believe. We did a couple of charities before them, and one of them was a great place, so they just went out of business. The lady that handled the charity, when she got where she couldn't take care of it anymore, no one stepped in to take up. So they just disappeared. So we worked with them. This is Big Whisker 8.
Okay.
This is our 8th one.
So I've been with the beard community now for about 4 years, and I've heard like when you first get into it and you start getting into this world, it's all same, it's just another day for you guys. But like when I first got into it and seeing the growth, over the last 4 years and seeing the difference in how competitions are run and like one of the big ones I always heard about was Big Whisker, of course, Monsters Ball, which was, for Mad Viking because that's who I joined with. And then of course, like Nationals, World's Beard Mustache. So I know that Big Whisker has been there, and I didn't compete in the last, this is the first year I'm actually doing a lot actual competing. So it's a little bit different for me. I put more of a focus on the charity side when I got in. I competed once, I think that first year back in 2018 at Beards Behind Bars 2, the last time they did it. But
that was fun.
It was such a good
That was
time.
fun.
Been reminiscing about that a lot. I actually still got this shirt. I wore it over the weekend, and we ended up talking about it for like over an hour.
Okay.
Me and a couple of the Kyle and Brian.
Right.
So, but this year, my wife has been a little more involved with getting out into the community and whatnot. And I mean, obviously, it takes two.
It does. And anybody in this community, if the women aren't welcome, we're in trouble, dude.
Absolutely.
We're in trouble. They're our biggest supporters. They do most behind the scenes work.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sorry, I've been married 40 years. If she told me I wasn't going, guess where I'm not going.
Right.
I'm not going to argue.
It's the same way.
So I got lucky that she was involved in it at the same time I did. We came in it together. So it worked out really good,
So and that was kind of the same way with us. Is like, she wasn't really wanting to get out, and so I stayed home. The biggest things we focused on was doing our charity work between the Oddfellows and Mad Viking, and doing what we can for that. And so that was our contribution to the beard community.
Right, and that's great.
But now we're getting into the competitive side, and that's really kind of what sparked this whole show was getting out here and seeing the competitions and seeing the kind of money that we can raise, for these charities. Like look at Columbus, where you emceed just last month. We raised almost $4,000 in the span of 4 hours.
Yeah, did a great job.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
Big shout out to Beard Mob Indiana,
Hey.
Shorty, Ron, and the rest of the crew up there. They did a great job with the comp. It was a lot of fun, and we were able to raise money for Special Olympics. It was a great show. But rolling back into that, we've got Big Whisker Revival 8.
Yes, sir.
And the Barracks Project is the charity that we're going to be focusing on. So since you've been doing this now with them for 4 years, this will be the 4th year.
4th or 5th, yes, sir.
So you guys have had pretty good response out of Barracks Project.
Oh yeah, they love us, and we also a lot of our members will go and help them with projects.
And
we got guys that cut grass for them. We have some of the guys that do the work in the homes and stuff. They're all carpenters and electricians and stuff, all those kind of things with the group. And yeah, they support us a lot. We do 3 parades a year.
Right.
A lot of times they'll go to the parades with us, and walk with us and stuff. So yeah, it's a good working arrangement between us.
So how did you get connected with the Barracks Project?
Some of the people in our group knew them.
Okay.
Right. And every year what we would do is we'd bring 3 or 4 charities in and have them pitch to why we want to help them out. And they won. Hands over, they won. And one of the things we tried to look for in the beginning, and we still do, is to find a charity that $5,000-$10,000 is going to make a difference.
Right.
And you can see where it's going to help. God bless the American Cancer Society, but they don't need us. They have all these big, huge corporate sponsors. So you try to keep the small local charities that we attempted to do. And we've done very well with this group.
And so I'm guessing that I've heard about the Barracks Project, based on what I've seen through Cincinnati Beard Barons and, going on with Big Whisker. Are they a local group to that area? Or
Yes. No. They have now expanded into California.
Okay, that's amazing.
Right. But they just have the 2 organizations, I believe.
Okay.
But yeah, she started from the ground. Her husband was a veteran. Actually he was active at the time. And they saw what was going on in the community. How the veterans were coming home and having a hard time. They decided they were going to help. And they started themselves right there. Felicia is the king, man. She rocks. The stuff that she's accomplished is unbelievable.
Is she going to make it out to Big Whisker?
Oh yeah, they're there every year.
I can't wait to meet her.
Yeah, they're there every year. They have representatives there. She's there. Her mom and dad are there. They.
It's a family affair.
Oh yeah, it's a great group of people. Great group of people.
So, Barons, I'm guessing, is this a club that you kind of helped found?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We founded it. We started with a couple other ones that didn't work. Like I said, I started out with the Queen City Beard and Mustache Society. And it was mainly a guy who was making wax and oil. And that's all he really wanted to do. He didn't want to get involved in the outside community. So then we started finding these competitions. I started going to those and said, hey, So then we started the Cincinnati Hair Force.
Air Force.
Yeah, Hair Force. That lasted a couple of weeks. It didn't go off well. And then there was the Northern Kentucky Bearded Brethren.
Okay.
Another guy started it. And after the second meeting, he decided he was going to go off the grid completely and move up in the jungles or something. And we're like, well, there goes that one. So we were in Columbus at a competition up there that the Gem City Gilded Gentlemen, Bearded Gentlemen.
Yeah, Bearded Gentlemen. That's one we were talking about.
Was put together. And they were at a date, but they had a show in Columbus. And there was a guy named Connor Moore. And it was myself, Paul Naper, and John Orbeez. And we had all competed. We all got talking. Let's try something new. Let's try it again. And it worked this time. We had the right core of people. We had a lot of different. They brought some friends. I brought some friends. He brought some friends. It all worked good. And then Connor's wife got transferred, and they moved back to Michigan. And they were originally a member of GAPO, which was the Great American Fierce Bearding Organization. And that was in the beginning. Those were all the first groups that I ever knew about. And so they moved up there. So then I took over the club, and we built it from 5 or 6 people. We probably got about 50 members now. And we probably got 15, 20 that are active.
Right.
You know, they're there all the time. It's a great group of people. We've got very lucky with the group.
You have a great group of people.
The court, it's just fantastic about things that people do.
So kind of going back into the talk about with the Barons, and we're gonna kind of roll back into the charities here in a minute.
Okay.
Mainly because I just really want to get the history, because you were telling me earlier you were actually on the show Whisker Wars, but you were in the crowd. So
Correct.
you
I
were
was in the
actually-
background of the crowd. They were filming at the competition I was at. They were
Right.
filming at the Columbus competition. When they
Okay.
were filming it there. And they had, I don't think Jack Passion was there, but I got to meet, what was the founder's name? Well, Brian Nelson was there and a bunch of the other ones.
Austin.
The guy that started all this mess, Ohio, the U.S. beer team and stuff. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's
But
fine.
anyway, Phil Olson.
Phil Olson.
Yeah,
Okay.
Phil Olson is the one that began it
It was
all,
on the tip
really.
of my tongue too. I was trying
Is
to-
these guys all came back from Europe.
right.
They went over there and saw what they were doing over there and brought it back to the States. Said, hey, we need to start doing this. You know, the big difference between the two is, you know, in North America, we made it a charity thing,
Right.
you know, and originally, one of the reasons a lot of the facial hair clubs got started was to promote facial hair.
Right.
Is, you know, when people would look at negatively at facial hair for the longest time.
Oh yeah.
And they would look at it, this guy's a pirate, he's a pothead, he's this, he's that, you know. And no, we're not. We're just normal people. You know, some of us might be pirates, but most of them are just normal people, you know, that like to have facial hair. That was the original beginning of all the clubs back in the early 20th century. Or what is this? 21st century?
Something like that.
Yeah. Is when we all first got started doing this stuff. And then it really gone to the charities. And how much the community has grown is unbelievable.
So how long have you been in the community then? Since 2012 is what
2010?
2010?
Right.
So you've definitely seen pretty much the full evolution
Correct.
of what we are now.
Correct. I mean, there was, at that time, you might have 5, maybe 10 competitions a year,
Right.
you know, and now you got that many every weekend.
Just about,
You
yeah.
know, every
It seems
place
like-
you go, there's a competition. And it's great, you know, and it's really good that like Aaron and them are working on getting a beard calendar together
Right.
to where you can look at this and say, oh, I don't want to do that weekend. You know, it's okay if Lexington has a competition on the same weekend somebody does the Sacramento,
Right.
you know, or somebody does in Wyoming.
Or
But you don't want
Louisiana
Louisville.
even. Yeah.
But you know, you don't want Louisville or Cincinnati or Richmond, Kentucky, or anybody else at the same time. You know, it works out that way to get more turnout.
It does seem that this core like 100 or so miles, we all kind of tend to keep an eye on each other and try not to run a comp at the same time as
Correct.
somebody
And we
else.
also have tried to have great turnouts.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all these clubs in this area are good at going to other people's competitions, not just competitions.
Yeah.
You know, other events they put together. You know, we try to show up for them, you know, and it works out really good. You know, we're lucky, like, you know, today driving down here, it's an hour and a half. What's the big deal?
Right.
You know, you come down, you hang out for a while. You know, so anytime, like with us in the parades.
Yeah.
Right. The pack, there's just a bunch of guys down, you know, for the parade.
Right.
They're gonna walk in the parade with us. You know, that's great. There's another new group that's getting together, getting started.
Yeah. I speaking of that, I want to say Smoker.
Yes.
We did an interview, or we did a quick video yesterday with Scott Turner.
Correct.
For Smoker. I will be posting up that information again, sharing it back out. We are doing a giveaway, Scott is doing a raffle, $5 a spot for 50 spots to do a custom lamp, and all the proceeds are going to go to Smoker's family. If you haven't got a chance to, check out the video that came out yesterday, or came out on Sunday, and we will be able to, you know, that way you can get the information or reach out to Scott Turner directly, and that way they can get all that set up. The pack, you know, they're up and coming. I'm really sorry what happened with Smoker's family.
Yeah, I mean, his father passed, you know, but it
happens,
horrible.
and it,
you know,
it's,
but we all gonna go sometime.
so, but it
He
kind
was
of
young.
something that Scott said yesterday is that if we don't start taking care of ourselves, how can we be expected to take care of
Exactly. And this is another thing this community was founded upon,
Right.
was that whole thing. is taking care of each other. You know, if you need something, you holler and people come.
Right.
You know, it's beautiful the way that it works out.
And that's part of the reason why I love this community so much is that it doesn't, and that's part of the reason why the show got started. And as my contribution back to the community was, it doesn't matter what club you belong to. It matters about who you are as a person and these people that you connect with, because we all try to help each other. You know, I'm Mad Viking Kentucky, you're Beard Baron, but at the same time, I'm Ray and your Taxi, and we're friends. We're going to go help each other.
Yeah, well, there's no animosity between clubs.
No.
You know, it's not like I don't like him because he's one of those guys.
Right.
You know, we all get along.
And
you know, we all hang out together. We're all here for one purpose.
Yeah.
You know, that's to have fun. Well, two purposes.
Yeah.
Have fun and raise money.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and help out each other. You know, it's a great thing.
And that's why we want to talk about the charity and put a focus on what's going on with charities and whatnot. And so I think it's great that you guys are working with the Barracks Project to help them raise money, and they are they're a mainstay for you guys.
Correct.
And I would urge other clubs that if they don't have a mainstay charity to work with in their community, find one. You know, do whatever you can to help them. And you can do, of course, multiple events a year and choose multiple charities, but work inside your community. Don't just pick one out of a hat. I've seen that a lot. Luckily, not so much around here, but like out in other parts of the country, people just choose charity because, this is the easiest one to go with.
Well, what's nice too is, like I said, try to keep it local.
Right.
You know, like what we try to do. But there's not a bad charity.
No, never.
You know, and what's so great about this community is, you know, you might go to a competition in Pittsburgh and it's for an animal shelter. Right. You know, you might go to one in Louisville and it's for, you know, veterans. You might go to one over here that's for abused women. You might want to go over here. Boom. Everybody's helping some way.
And it's amazing.
Yeah, but I agree with try to find one that you can stick with and watch it grow.
Absolutely.
You know, we tell Felicia all the time, our goal is you don't need our money anymore. You know, that you're so big and you've done so well that you don't need us. You know, we'll find another small one to start with. And she always will always need you. I'm like, I understand, but it's the idea.
I mean, you can't even think about losing Taxi Phil and the Barons because, you know, can't lose you.
Oh yeah.
Right? You're too much of a character.
Well, thank you.
So
it's hard work.
It's hard work being this awesome.
Oh yeah.
So going back into that though, as how has working inside the community, working with the charities, how has that changed your life and how you perceive things?
Well, the truth is, before we found the bearding community, we didn't do anything.
Okay.
And we're looking for something to do. You know, trying to find an outlet that we can help out of, so we do charity work and help charities out. Now, like even with the Barracks Project, they have guys that go do work for them. I can't do that. I'm not talented. I don't know how to do none of that stuff, you know. But we've always tried to find something. Once we found the bearding community, it was like, dude, this is cool. You know, now we've found an outlet, you know, a way to get out there. The bearding community has changed our life 100%. 100%. This is the best community I've ever been involved with in my life. No matter where you go, you can take a stranger to a beard comp and they leave friends with 100 people.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's amazing. You know, everybody just gets along. And one of the most amazing things, get off the charity for a minute, the most amazing things I've seen at these events, and we've been to a lot, I've never seen an argument. I've never seen two guys get irritated with each other. And they're all pounding some liquor now.
That's
you know,
true.
It ain't like it's a sober event. And everybody gets along. Every event I've been to, the security people are like, these guys are amazing. How do you guys do this? What do you mean? We don't do anything. We just stand around and watch. Exactly. That's how we want it to be. You know? And I can't name other communities like that. You know?
I honestly can't either. You know, it's funny you talk about that. Going back to the Beards Behind Bars, I remember thinking kind of the same thing. It's like everybody's out there, they're drinking, we're having fun, we're doing a competition. It is hot inside that prison. Like you can see all the pictures that came through, and I can't remember. She was sweet. I can't remember the lady's name that was shooting the pictures that weekend. But like you can see every picture that came through. Everybody's just beads, sweats coming down their face from going across the judge's stage. but we were all drinking that day. Some had been drinking since the night before.
Correct.
But like no arguments.
Well,
no
now you got to
fights.
remember, beers behind bars, there was a deterrent. You looked out the window, and there was 2 prisons right over there. You got to say, well, we better behave. Man. We better go
Somebody
over
was
there.
sleeping off in the hole in the haunted
Yeah,
building.
you know. So yeah, I mean, it's just great.
But but like you were saying, all these other events, I can't remember a time where I've seen people get into a shouting match
No.
or anything like that at a beer comp or at any event.
I mean, maybe it's happened. We haven't seen it,
Right.
but it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and it's a rare commodity
It
when you
is.
get a bunch of people together and get to drinking. So, I definitely agree that the community is like no other. I see it the same way, and it changed our lives a lot too. So I can kind of relate.
Yeah, I mean, it's all changed for the better. There's no question. And we get to travel.
Yeah,
get to go all over the place.
Yeah, especially because like this year has been kind of the year of the judge and the MC for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And if anybody needs a judge or an MC, let me know. I love doing it. It's one of my favorite things to do. The great thing about judging, you're guaranteed a seat. There's no standing all day. You're guaranteed a seat. You get to see every beard. The place. That's a fantastic thing. And MC is so much fun. It's so much fun.
If you've not been to an event where Taxi Phil is emceeing, you have not experienced an event at its fullest yet. Because Taxi makes every experience and every person that goes across that stage, it just feel special and laugh. You will not stop laughing from the moment that he starts talking to the moment that he puts the mic down.
Except for Andrew Horton.
Well, we don't talk about
that.
So
it's a blast. I got 2 more this season that I'm emceeing.
So that's which ones are those? That's Pomeroy
and Beers on the Bent.
Yep.
And the Big Whisker.
Yeah. So we just actually had our interview with Travis last week to talk about Beards on the Bend, and they're doing some.
They do fantastic things. They do a lot of community work inside the community, which is another thing we can talk about with that type of charity is the smaller town clubs have a better advantage of be able to do those type of things. The ones in the big cities, it's harder to first all get together.
Right.
Like them, they go paint walls, they pick up, they do a lot of great things.
Cleaning the bridge or cleaning the wall at the levee.
Correct. They do a lot of great things. I mean, it's a great group of people.
Oh, absolutely.
Except for Travis, but the rest of them are okay.
Well, that depends. I've heard Travis needs a babysitter when he gets when he gets one going. So
yeah, that's one reason why Jessica was keep him in line. And my cousin Jason Underhill.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that was your cousin.
Yeah, well, kind of like sort of. We're both Underhills.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. My mom was an Underhill. He's an Underhill. There ain't a whole bunch of them. So.
And you're over the hill.
Yeah, okay. And I'm over the hill.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm way over the hill.
Not quite under anymore.
No. That's another nice thing about being one of the older competitors out there. When me and Jim Jones show up, first off, when me and Jim shows up, we take all the sexiness right out of the room because we're hot when we walk in.
I mean,
and but we travel a lot together, and we're usually the oldest people in the room, so it's pretty cool.
Jim Jones is like I've said it 100 times, absolute legend as well in his own right.
I'm so lucky I found him.
I have had I kind of feel like the times that I've gotten to hang out and talk to Jim over the years, it kind of feels like sitting under the learning tree sometimes when you talk to him. As long as you catch him when he's focused.
He's focused sometimes.
Sometimes. If you catch him at a competition, most of the time he's hyper focused on everything going on around him. So you might get like 4 or 5 words out of him that might not make sense to you at the time, but it will later on. So
was one thing. The 2 lovely Mrs. Joneses, when they both show up, is a good thing because they got somebody to sit with.
Right.
Because we don't sit. We're gone. We're running around the whole dang on time.
Yeah. I'm actually I'm grateful to learn from you guys though. Like when I go to competition, it's funny because like I look at the way I dress for competition or I dress to go out to these events and I see you and Jim do the same thing and it makes with your own styles.
Correct.
Of course.
We're dapper.
we're dapper. We go for the gentleman look and kind of that old school style. And I see a lot of that happen overseas.
Yes,
A lot of those.
Yeah.
And starting to see a little bit more of it kind of circulate around here.
a lot of your, I'll take credit again. The handlebar guys
Yeah,
are dapper.
absolutely.
The 90% of them, when you go to a comp, these dudes are all they're ready.
He's judging. I think he might be judging at Pomeroy from Derby City.
Patrick Fetty.
Yes, that man has probably one of the best mustaches I've seen.
And well, when you're the 4 or 5 time reigning world champion,
I mean, that kind of happens.
yeah, it kind of happens. He's got the best English mustache ever.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, when he does his English, it's perfect. You know,
Derby City's another one. I'd like actually to get him on the show at some point too, because Derby City's another one that I don't feel like they don't get as much of the spotlight down here as they should, because they do a lot of work out there.
they do a lot of stuff. Is it him and Ryan Gordon and guys are great.
Yep.
You know, they do a lot for the community. They've been having a problem the last couple of years, like most folks had.
Yeah.
You couldn't have the competitions because of the plague,
Right.
you know, and so they've been holding off. They'll be back.
Oh,
They'll
absolutely.
be back strong. Man.
Yeah.
They do a great job. I mean, Whisker Mania.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Oh, you gotta love that. You're out there in the ring.
Oh, dude. It's
You know.
one of my favorites.
Yeah. Was it square circles? What it is?
The squared circle. It's more like a squared rectangle with them though, because it's just like it was because it was a Diamonds pub that they used to do
Right.
it at. And it was just like they put really rough ropes and
Yeah.
turnbuckles up on
Oh,
the top of
it's
his face.
fun.
It was such a good time. And they choose a lot of good charities.
Yes,
local
they do.
charities that
Yeah,
they get to work with.
Yeah, they work a lot of different groups.
Okay. So basically what I wanted to kind of wrap into that, since you've got a couple more MCs, some judging
Yes, sir.
competitions that we're not going to go into
Right.
because they've not been announced yet. So
Top
you're
secret.
top secret. So you're definitely a full calendar. You're going to be, of course, at Big Whisker, and then you're going to go to Peru.
I'm hoping to go to Peru.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The city, not the country.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, Peru, Indiana.
yeah, Peru, Indiana for what is it? Peru Fall Festival Beard
Correct.
Bash.
That's my goal. I
Um,
ain't guaranteeing nothing. I'm gonna try to make it to that.
from Beard Mob, Indiana. I unfortunately will not be able to make Beards on the Bend or the Peru Fall Festival, but I'm looking forward to seeing pictures and videos from there. And I know that you're going to have a blast
Oh
and,
yeah.
and help raise the entertainment
Oh,
value
that's
of
a
everywhere
blast.
you
That's
walk
a good
into.
time. Now, you know, you got the big one this weekend in Nashville.
Yes. First annual, what is it? First annual Music
Moonshine.
City Moonshine
Moonshine.
Classic. Big names.
Yeah.
Big names.
Yeah.
I love it. With Scott Turner and Beard Mob, Tennessee. I will be down there for that one,
Good.
so I'll make sure to get you some pictures.
Thank you. I
Um,
can't make it.
well, I will drink one for you.
At least 2.
At least two.
Thank you.
At least two. Last question, and it's a question I ask everybody that comes on the show. I want your most guilty pleasure or your most embarrassing moment inside the bearding community. No holds barred.
Well, I guess the most embarrassing was when I got my mustache yanked out of my face.
Okay.
Yeah, on
You got my
January
attention.
15th, 2015, I got one side pulled completely out. It was a road rage situation and got out of control, and it made me realize I was old. The thing that hurt most was my pride. I couldn't get away from the guy. Yeah, that was the most embarrassing, you know. And of course, my guilty pleasure. That's ice cream,
Absolutely.
you know. And we'll have a couple on the way home today.
Make
for
sure
sure.
you hit Crank and Boom while you're here in Lexington.
Crank and boom.
Yeah, Crank and Boom is the best ice
Okay.
cream in Lexington, and they get a little boozy with their ice cream.
Okay.
I think you guys will enjoy
Have to check that out.
that.
She's got it written down over here.
We'll make sure to get you to the right place to go.
There you go. There you go.
So,
Yeah, we're soft serve guys. We like soft serve.
same.
You know.
I am 100% the same.
And that's why I'm glad I don't live like in California or Arizona where you can eat it year round. Ours is seasonal. You know, like it gets cut off right, you know.
Yeah, trust me.
About
I don't
October. Oh,
need.
yes,
I don't
sir.
need any help with that. So
Well, thank you so much for having me, sir. It's
Look-
been an extreme pleasure.
I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna wrap up here. I actually kind of want you to stay on.
All right.
Just because I think that you're going to enjoy the philosophy and thought of this is every show I wrap up with the same saying, and it's all about leaving things better than how you found it. And that's really what we do inside this bearded community, is that we are looking to leave things better than how we found it, and we're really just looking to leave a legacy behind for the people that are coming behind us to pick up that mantle and keep moving it forward.
Yes, sir.
And you guys have definitely embodied that up there at the Cincinnati Beer Barons and everything that you guys have done and what you've done for this community. And I want to thank you personally for that. And I can't wait to be able to spend more time with you guys, get to know you better.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you for coming down for the show.
No problem.
It's been an absolute honor to have you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Everybody, be safe and remember to leave a legacy. Have a good day.